Okay. Okay. This is family member interview for the Wilkinson family, number 1. So, to begin, what is your full name?
Johnny Cale Blalock.
Okay. Did your parents name you after anyone?
I think so, and I think it. Well, I don't know where the Johnny come from, because I can't think of anybody else unless it was
Name
Johnny
Johnny.
McCorkle. But the Cale come from, as far as I know, Cale Abernathy,
Cool.
and
Was
I
that-
think he lived less than a half a mile from here, but I could be wrong.
Was that just somebody they know?
Like just up the creek. I don't know whether he was kin or.
Yeah. Might have been, but.
I would figure they might have been.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just come
Somebody
up with
in
the
there.
name or.
Yeah. So it could have been though, Cale Abernathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Maybe
did
somebody
people
know.
call you when you were a kid?
Johnny.
Johnny. And did you have nicknames?
No.
No nicknames?
Not when I was a kid.
Yeah, and what's your nickname now?
Johnny B from Route 3.
When were you born?
I don't know because I just can't remember back that far. I know some people that remember. You know, they said when the doctor delivered them, said they were delivered at home.
Yeah.
And said after they delivered me, said the doctor stayed around and talked to Mom and Daddy for a long time.
Oh, God.
But I can't remember back at first, so
Your memory
I'll
is
just
that
say I was
good.
born June the 14th, 1949
Sounds good. Do you know what city you were born?
in Lincoln at Gamble Hospital. I don't know the doctor's name.
Yeah. Gamble was named after John Gamble, I think. Maybe.
Gamble was a
Yeah.
doctor.
Okay. And then they named a hospital after him. So what about, let's talk about your parents for a little bit. What's your mom's full name?
I'm thinking. Burley Beth Hager Wilkinson. No,
Wilkinson. Blalock.
not Hager. I'm just getting
Yeah.
confused. I was
Well,
thinking
we was
about
talking
Grandma.
about Grandma Burley.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Burley Beth,
And do you know where she was born?
Catawba Springs. I mean, that could have been possibly this
In a
right
home?
here, near here. I don't know.
Probably in their house.
Probably in the house.
Yeah, probably. And what about your dad's full name?
Walter Wade Blalock,
And do you know where he was born?
Catawba.
Catawba. Also probably in the house.
And there's one place that Daddy's mommy sent him outside and asked him which way the wind was blowing, and they lived in Catawba.
Yeah.
And he told her which way the wind was blowing, and he said, his mama said, that's the direction we're going to move in. And he said that year they moved 8 times.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of moving.
Wow. Did you
I
say
guess they just couldn't,
they was sharecroppers?
yeah,
Yeah.
but they couldn't afford, I don't know. I mean,
Well, maybe if the
different
rent
times of the
changed or
years
went
and-
up or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know when they quit moving? Did they like settle down at some point and stay there?
I don't know
Don't know for sure.
when they ever
Yeah.
settle down.
Well, that would be hard to keep moving like that a lot.
And Uncle Jesse said they both was in Catawba County, and Uncle Jesse said, let's move to Lincoln County. And Daddy said, why? I guess he
like what,
they
he wanted Catawba
live
County.
around
Huh?
Claremont and Hickory, Brookford, and
Yeah.
Catawba, and all them places in Catawba County.
So it was Jesse's idea to move down this
Yeah.
way, and he just
But
agreed.
Jesse wasn't as far up as Daddy was.
Yeah.
He lived just right above Little Mountain.
Mm.
They did.
So he knew might have
Right
known
off
this
of
area more.
Buffalo Shoals Road.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I'm glad they did move to Lincoln County.
Yeah.
Well, while we're thinking about that, what about when they bought land and Jesse and Grandpa bought land. Can you talk about that?
Not a lot.
No.
No. But they bought
both sides of the road.
I guess 50 acres and they split it up.
Yeah.
25 acres or,
Yeah.
They might have been 24 and a half and.
Yeah. But it ended up that Grandpa kind of got this side of the road and Jesse got more on that side of the road or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhat. And, I'm glad they did that. Because here we are. What about your dad's parents or grandparents? Can you think of their names?
Robert Stamey.
Grandpa's
was daddy's name. Robert Stamey Blalock, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I can never. Grandma Blalock had a short name. You're talking about on daddy's side, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's May.
Was it May? I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but I think it might have been May. But
yeah,
was they probably born in Catawba County?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, probably.
Because it was near probably Bandy's that there was 3 Blalocks.
Yeah.
Boys. And that was like my grandpa's daddy. That's where these boys.
Oh.
He come out of them, and I don't know what my grandpa's Blalock's daddy's name was, but it was Wes, and I can't remember the other 2 names right now, but it was near a lime kiln.
Where they lived around?
Yeah. Huh. Not far from Bandy's.
Yeah. That might be something to investigate, I was thinking of a question and I forgot it. What did your dad do for a living?
Mainly he cut logs and worked in furniture factories. Broyhill, Southern.
Like putting furniture together?
Yeah.
Somewhat? Yeah.
And, he worked a sanding machine to smooth out the veneer.
Yeah. Did he do that when he was younger and then the logging when he was older, or interchangeable?
Well, he cut logs. Before that, he worked at a cotton mill in what is now called Ranlow. Him and Aunt Noni worked in Ranlow, and it was called Rex then, and they changed the name of the town. But Everett Wilkinson asked him if he would come go with him and cut logs, and said he'd give him a house to stay in and give him a hog. So that and a whole lot more money than they never made in a cotton mill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Didn't have to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was that up in the house that guy gave him? Was that in Catawba County?
No, it was between here and Mac Ballard Road.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Everett.
Okay.
That's what I called him, but
Everett Boone?
Everett Wilkinson.
Sorry. Don't we have an Everett Boone? Oh, Hager.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And Mount Everest. No, that's
yeah.
You want to cut?
Go cut that out.
I'm gonna have to quit drinking Dr. Pepper with cream and soda.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking about a question of his profession. When he got hurt and messed up his hearing.
I don't know. One time the doctor told him he come within 1/8 of an inch of cutting his jugular vein with a chainsaw.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought, well,
That's
did a board
close.
hit him one time? Yeah, that's you. You about to be out of here.
Yeah,
You
I
do
don't
that.
remember this about a board, but
Oh, I
remember
thought that's how he
the
messed up his
saw
hearing.
kicked back and just
Yeah.
about cut his head off.
Oh my gosh, that's scary. That's probably before they had them safety. Don't kick back on them.
He used a home light saw, and
Mm-hmm.
Jesse used a McCulloch, and
Yeah.
they both swannied by
Their
whichever-
brand.
Their
Yeah.
brand, yeah. But Daddy run a 2-man saw. It was a home light. They had a 4-foot blade on it because back then there was big trees, and you
Yeah.
had to have a big saw.
Yep.
And he said the last big trees he cut was between here and Tucker's campground on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like 3 foot across, big
Oh my
yellow
goodness.
pine trees.
Hmm.
And that was like in around close to 1960.
Yeah.
And I'd go in the early 70s and walk down through there and still see the big
The
stumps
stumps.
like this, you know.
Wow. Did they mostly just cut the pine, or they cut hardwoods too?
Well, I guess it cut both, but
Yeah.
it seemed like pine was the thing that
Yeah,
they cut down.
for making stuff out of.
Everett Wilkinson was standing up on the hill watching him and I think maybe Blair Lockman.
Mm-hmm.
And Daddy said, let's see how fast we can cut this tree down. It was like this big.
Yeah.
And they was using the saws like this.
Yeah.
And they cut that tree down in a minute and a half.
Oh my goodness.
And Everett said, let's make them all like that. And they said, they was about to
They messed
give
up.
out, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
you can't sustain
you can't
that.
do that. No.
Mm-mm. That's just a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. Mhm. Do you have any memories of your grandparents, like going to their house or having family gatherings or things that they did, stuff like that?
Well, both sides, we'd get together and all the people would come around and have a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandpa and grandma Blalock, they was just like out where the back of the house was like a chest, a freezer that you put
Mm-hmm.
ice in. It wasn't a freezer, it was an ice box.
Yeah.
And they had a big long table out there, and everybody gathered around out there, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody bring something. to
Bring
eat.
stuff, yeah.
And then the Wilkinson family, we'd always go over to the side of the house. Well, Mr. Carson is what everybody called
Mm-hmm.
Carson.
Yeah, they called him
Yeah.
Mr. Cars.
Mr. Carson, yeah. But
Hmm.
we'd eating out beside the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess if you was eating out in front, somebody come down there and run off the road and wipe everybody out because it was
I was too close to the
it was
road.
really close.
Was
to
that
the road.
on off of Campground Road?
No,
No?
it was
Oh,
on
here.
King Wilkinson or
Down-
Pumpkin Center Road,
Down here,
what
yeah.
they call it, yeah. But it was shady down there
Yeah.
beside the house.
Mm-hmm. Where was your grandma and grandpa Blalock's house that you had them gatherings at?
It was probably less than 500 feet from St. James Lutheran Church.
Okay, yeah. Yep. I remember we drove by there and you told me that's where it
And
was.
I guess it's St. James Church Road
Yeah.
out of Newton.
Okay. What kind of things do you remember about your mom growing up?
Well, she wasn't mean to me at all. She didn't fuss at me.
Yeah.
Maybe she should. I was a
Maybe you
wild
wouldn't have
child
ended
later
up
on. I
in
don't
prison.
know. Yeah.
Do you remember?
She prayed for me a lot.
Yeah. Did she tell you that then?
At times, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
What about do you remember what kind of things that she did, like Did she ever work outside the home? What kind of things did she cook? Stuff like that.
I remember Coke or sop. That's what we
Coke or
called it.
sop. Yeah.
It was Coke or sop's the way we said it. That
Coke or
was,
sop.
coca and milk, I guess, or I don't know whether there's any cream in it.
Yeah.
But, to have that for breakfast or sometime.
With biscuits.
Yeah, biscuits.
Yeah.
And we'd crumble cornbread up in buttermilk. And if we didn't have buttermilk, we'd pour vinegar in the sweet milk to make it sour.
Yep.
Or I did. I think everybody else did too.
Yeah. They rather have buttermilk. Rather have it taste like buttermilk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to wait long when you pour it in there? Or is it pretty instant?
No, it's pretty instant.
Oh, well.
It just makes it sour.
Yeah. It just tastes better with cornbread.
Mm-hmm.
Did she ever work a job as far as you can remember?
Not that I ever remember.
Yeah.
If she did, it was maybe before I even come along.
Yeah. But not that you know of.
And Jan had it made.
Why?
And then I was born. And then it all went downhill for Jan.
She wasn't the baby
Wasn't
no
a baby
more.
anymore. Yeah.
Well, what about your dad? What kind of things do you remember about your dad?
We went everywhere, walking in the woods.
Yeah.
And I don't think there ever was a tree that he passed that he didn't know what kind it was.
Well, you picked that up. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I say about you.
And we'd go looking for slingshot prongs,
Mm-hmm.
dogwood.
Yeah.
And you'd find them in a good stand of tall pines. They would be dogwood trees and the big pines and the big, open.
Yeah.
Not just all kind of junk
Yeah.
woods.
Didn't have a lot of undergrowth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you would find the better dogwood trees
Yeah.
usually. Yeah.
Good straight.
Yeah. Did y'all ever sell slingshots or just make them for your
I
own
don't
use?
know if he ever. Daddy might have sold a few.
Yeah.
But probably didn't get over $2 or $3 for it.
Yeah. Just to pay for the leather and the rubber bands.
Yeah.
And then we talked about what he did. What about his personality?
Oh, I must have got.
I almost couldn't get that out.
I know. Yeah. Oh. I guess everybody was ever around Daddy knowed he had just a happy,
Yeah.
and he liked to joke.
Joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Telling stories and.
Yeah, the one thing that they told at his funeral,
Mm-hmm.
the preacher said he went in the Punk Hicks's over, it's where, it's 150 and 16 Crossroads.
Yeah.
And I think it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken right in there. No, they sell tires there.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Daddy they said he just walked in the store and was looked up for like 10 foot off the ground, hanging way up. And he just stood there. And they asked him, said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Well, there was just a whole bunch of different tailpipes bent this way and that way."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I come in here to get my tailpipe straightened, but I see young's the chauffeur behind." Said, "I don't want to wait."
Oh my gosh.
And they preached that at his funeral, told that. Yeah.
That's just the whole community must have remembered it for a while. Long time.
Mm-hmm.
What about did he make you listen, or do you think he let you get away with stuff?
Well, I don't remember many whoopings, but I didn't like the ones I got anyway.
Yeah, but you did
I
get a
think
couple.
he hit me with a broom one time.
Oh my.
I think I might have thrown dirt or sand in cousin Joy's eye.
Yeah, and got
And
hit
we
with the
was
broom.
probably picking peanuts off the
Mhm.
whatever they are. they're not a vine, they're a
Yeah.
stalk or I don't know what they are.
Pulling them up.
Well, they's already pulled up. But
Oh,
we
you was just
picking them
them.
off. Yeah.
Oh, when you took some of the dirt and threw it at her.
Yeah. And he's seen it.
Uh-oh.
And he grabbed a broom and whopped me with it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I guess so. What about, can you think of a lesson you learned from either one of your parents besides don't throw dirt? Or maybe something that they
I know
always
Daddy
said.
You know, if you got a good job, said don't never tell anybody what you make.
Yeah.
They'll have you a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't brag on it.
Keep it a secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think of anything your mom taught you or tried to instill in you, or a story that she told or something?
No, but I remember her favorite song.
What was it?
And it may have been the Carter family, but it was Little Annie.
Little Annie?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Once more, little Annie, I must leave you. We must part at the end of the lane. And it's like it would return in the spring, and something just happened.
Oh, it's still good. Still good. It's good.
Okay.
I think it was a notification. What about, do you have any special items that either one of them gave you, like your daddy's pocket knife or something that they wanted you to have?
A couple of his billfolds from.
Yeah. You just saved them.
Yeah. And I got slingshot prongs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just about have to have that.
And well, he bought me a guitar in 1962, and Scotty's has that.
Got it.
1930 L5 Gibson.
Tell me about that. Tell me about it.
Oh, I just carried it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it never had nothing but like a shoestring
To put it, to hold it on
your
you.
neck.
Yeah.
And, or just a piece of cloth, you know.
Yeah.
Different things tied together.
Yeah.
And I actually climbed up on the side of the tire on top of Little Mountain. I had a tape recorder, a reel-to-reel tape recorder in one hand, and had that guitar strapped on my back. And we didn't go up the steps. We just climbed up the outside of the tire on the cross members.
Carrying that, you and who?
Jimmy and Charlie, probably. I'm not sure if Charlie would climb up the outside, but I'm sure Jimmy would.
Yeah. And y'all
Jimmy Krause,
made a recording up there? Up on the tower?
Probably, but I don't know where
That was where you started to do anyway, what you was trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we was young.
Yeah. Tell me, you told me about that guitar, but I forget the details. Whose guitar was it?
The guitar that he bought?
Yeah.
It was a Hoke man, and I'll get their name, Howard Hoke. That is, if Howard Hoke is the one that made fiddles from, he lived in just below Stanley.
Yeah. And he made it?
No, he owned it.
He owned it. He owned it.
And he had a picture of him playing it in the Fiddlers Convention. I think it was at Rock Springs. It might have been Mooresville. And he was standing on the stage with that guitar in his hand, 1960. And like I say, it was 62.
Okay.
But the guitar that Daddy bought me in 1962 was a 1930 L5 Gibson. And had F holes, not a round hole. But anyway, Howard Hoke had a picture of it when he was up on the stage at the Fiddlers Convention in either Mooresville or Rock Springs. But somehow or another, I don't know really how it happened, but the guitar fell, and I don't think it was in a case. It might have been, but it fell and it busted the back and the front. and it got fixed here in the last 10 years. But
Yeah.
Wayne Henderson fixed it.
Yeah.
It cost about $600 to get it fixed. But anyway,
Yeah.
Daddy give $20 for it.
Did you say he bought it at the music store in Wilkinson?
No, he bought it at C.C. Miller, Cleet Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another story.
Yeah.
Cleet took me out when I wasn't old enough to drive and take me to jam sessions, and I'd sit in the back and play the guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and he played a fiddle, and
Yeah.
different places.
That's Cleet Miller took you to do that after Grandpa had got you that guitar? Or before and after?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't do the math.
Right. But around that time.
I probably had that guitar by then, but
yeah.
I guess I might have been playing that.
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is, you're going to say, I know what you're going to say. What is your first childhood memory besides when you were born?
I just remember I left where we lived way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of went probably down by the barn, parallel with the Pumpkin Center Road at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to where you would cross a fence, but it was a gate. And it was like cedar poles
Mm-hmm.
between, it had two sides, and you would just drop it down and
To get through the gate.
to move take the tractor and trailer through to go pick the peanuts or whatever.
Yeah.
From Uncle Jesse's. And when I stepped through, I was 6 years old, as far as I know. I was going to Julie and Jesse's,
Mm-hmm.
and I messed in my britches, and I can't forget that.
Well, yeah.
But I can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just that happened.
I can just remember, be standing there, and I'd be putting my clothes on,
Mm-hmm.
And I said that one time I probably didn't know what my name was till I was 6 years old. I don't know. I didn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Way back.
Right. I think that's pretty normal. I think some of our memories are there because we see pictures, but if there wasn't a lot of pictures, maybe that don't help you remember things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin had a good memory, and he'd say, something happened way back in 1956 or something like that. And,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, it was raining that day. It's like,
Oh my God.
I mean, it was crazy
He
the
could
memory
remember
he
the
had.
Details. Yeah. That'd be good to have.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to my next question, which is, did you have any siblings? Was Calvin the oldest?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have Calvin.
And Calvin had a brother. Twin,
Yeah.
Alvin.
And did he pass away right when they were born?
Yeah, I think it was pretty soon. I'm not
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he was alive or just
Stillborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have, who's the next oldest?
The
Charles?
ugly one.
The ugly one.
No, I'm
Be
sorry.
sure to get that on camera.
Oh no. Yeah, it was Gerald. That's right.
And then Brenda would have been next.
Yeah.
And Jan.
Yeah.
Yep. Till you come along.
Yeah. And ruined it all
She didn't
for
get to
Jan.
be the baby no more.
I remember, I'll tell about what Jan told no long time before she passed away, and squeezed her hand. I said, "We'll see you later, Jan." And I said, "Try to stay out of trouble." And she said, "Oh, I will. But if I do, I'll make sure that somebody else gets blamed for it." That's what she said.
She was still being feisty.
A comedian like my daddy was. And, yeah.
Can you think of other stories about your siblings or how you would describe them and their personalities?
Well, I remember more about Brenda and Jan.
Yeah.
And then not a whole lot about Gerald. I know he played sports, just, all kind of sports, and really good at it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting on the bed one day, and Calvin got a hold of my feet and pulled me off, and my bottom hit the floor pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it just killed Calvin. It just broke his heart.
Oh, my.
Oh, Johnny, I'm so sorry, just tender-hearted.
Wow.
Yeah.
He wasn't really trying to hurt you. He just trying to play.
Yeah, just picking.
Yeah.
But I remember Jan and Jenda, they wanted to do the twist, and I just like country music.
Yeah.
And they liked the rock and roll and the dancing and all that. And
right.
I went in there and took the dial off on the radio button, and I turned it to where it was just like static, and then pulled the dial off and took off out of the house. And they chased me around the house for probably 10 minutes. Give us that thing back.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
And I remember them,
to do to
both
your sisters.
of them, they had a long telephone cord, and with picture window, had a window on each side, just a window on the middle.
Yeah.
And they'd run the phone outside and talk to their boy fellers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that was disgusting to you, being young, little. Like, ooh.
I remember carrying in stove wood.
Yeah.
We had a wood stove.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have it piled so high I couldn't even see up around it and over top of it.
Yeah. Just walking blindly to.
You just stagger, put two and then, put two here and then two there like that.
Like alternating direction.
Yeah.
To stack it.
And
Yeah.
stack it up like 7, 8 high or something.
Oh my goodness. Your house was probably pretty warm in the wintertime. No? Well,
no, I would stand in front of
the living room.
The wood stove.
Yeah.
And with a blanket, get it heated up.
Yeah.
And then I'd take off running back there and jump in the bed with that blanket around me.
Stay warm.
Yeah. It was cold.
When you did that, you slept in the back bedroom, right?
And listen to WCKY in Cincinnati.
Oh.
With the announcer was Wayne Rainey. They played country music.
Yeah.
This is Wayne Rainey here in WCKY. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Cincinnati.
Probably. You think it? Oh, you said Cincinnati. Yeah. So y'all was picking up a Cincinnati station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did everybody sleep?
Me and Gerald and Calvin slept in the back, and I guess there was a curtain where Mom and Daddy slept between them and Jan and Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that middle bedroom.
There was just 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Living room. I mean, way back.
The first bedroom that you come to
was you walk in the
Grandma
front
and Grandpa
door, and then
would sleep. Yeah.
One on the left was Mom and Daddy, and the one that you walked in was the living room, and then straight back was the kitchen.
Yep.
And then our
bedroom. The boys slept in the back. Yeah. But then you probably got that room to yourself.
We built
for a while, didn't you? Yeah. When they got bigger.
But they built a big living room to the front of the house later on.
So the living room was added on later.
Yeah.
Was the bathroom always there? Was there always a bathroom in that house?
No.
No.
No, we took a shower out back.
So that the room where the bathroom is had been a bedroom? No.
It was a kitchen.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then the kitchen moved for the living room.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I follow you. So there was a time. Do you remember how old you were when the bathroom got in the house? Like
I think it was
generally?
like 1960, I believe.
Yeah.
I think we got a TV like 1957. I ain't gonna swan you to that.
Yeah.
And Cleet Miller, the guy Daddy bought the guitar. from,
Mm-hmm.
he would come over and work on it, look at it, and so I found the problems and fixed it, and give me 50 cents. You know.
The TV?
Yeah, and he would
To get it
make
working?
house calls.
Wow.
Yeah, when they used to carry the TV.
No, because it was big and heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was that his profession? Generally
He
speaking?
sold guitars and guitar strings and appliances.
So then he got to fixing things too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Howard Hoke,
Mm-hmm.
about where the same building that Cleet had, Howard said him and his brother, I forgot his brother's name, said his uncle had a store where Cleet's place was later on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a store there across from the Hoke, Claude Hoke's place. And I don't know who all lived in that house and how old it was, but
yeah,
a 2-story house. But anyway, he said, I don't know exactly whether they lived at the 2-story house or it was an old house way back behind it. It might have been log.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he said they would go in there and off to the side of the store and get a couple chickens and take them in there and sell them to his uncle. And they said they crawled up on the store and said they knew where the molasses barrel was, and they drilled a hole and they had a plug. They'd let molasses out and then stick the hole back up in the bottom of the.
Now, Cleet Miller did that?
No, Howard Hoke.
Okay. Yeah.
So their uncle, I don't know what his name was.
Right.
But Howard made some pretty fiddles.
Yeah. Now, where was that? Where was his store? I mean, uncle's store.
It was right in there close to where Cleet's store was.
Which is where that?
Kind of almost not straight across from the 2-story house that Claude Hoke lived in.
I don't know where it's at. I thought
It's
it is.
just before Fay Jones Road from here.
Okay.
On the left.
Okay. It's been gone a long time, I guess, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, all of them. I don't know.
Yeah. What kind of stuff did you eat growing up?
Well, we eat beans and potatoes mainly.
Did you grow? Was it stuff you grew, or did you get them at the grocery store?
Well, they were stuff growed, beans and both taters. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you said something about Jesse growing peanuts.
Yeah.
Did Grandpa grow peanuts?
No.
Just Jesse. Probably had a number of acres of peanuts.
Probably not no more than a half acre. Maybe not.
Did he sell them, or just grow them for the family?
I think they just grew them for the family.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember.
They put them in sacks and put them up on the south side of the shed on top of the thing where nothing could get to them.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
right.
Squirrels, whatever.
Squirrels. Yeah.
Dry them out. And
what about meat? What kind of meat did you eat?
We had pigs or hogs, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all did?
Yeah. And I guess Jesse had hogs, but I can't remember. I can't.
What about rabbit or squirrel?
Oh, squirrel.
Yeah.
Daddy eat squirrel gravy all the time and squirrel.
Yeah. Did you like it?
and rabbits. I got to. They'd go rabbit hunting. Daddy's brother R.L.
Mm-hmm.
would come down, and I think they like left the house, and R.L. had dogs. As far as I remember, they jumped 9 rabbits between there and 150. I mean, and I remember cleaning at least 5 rabbits at one time.
Golly.
And it's hard to get the hide off of them things.
Yeah.
And squirrels,
I would
too.
imagine so.
I don't think squirrels is as bad.
Yeah. Did y'all have, do you remember what grocery store y'all shopped at?
Well, I remember it was probably Joe and Jim's in Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what year that was.
Yeah.
I remember going to Lincoln, and I guess it was Rose's.
Yeah.
5 and dime or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they had little plastic cars, and they was like 13 cents or something, you know, wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember laying up in the back of where the back glass was. I'd get up in there and lay down.
Yeah.
Riding down the road. That's before seatbelts.
Before seatbelt
That's
usage.
before lawyers come around. And
Yeah.
all that, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have pets growing up?
I got a dog from my aunt Nona,
Mm-hmm.
Daddy's sister.
Yeah.
And I named him Rusty. And he was part German Shepherd and part Chow and part Collie. His mama was full Collie.
Okay. You was telling me about Rusty the dog,
Yeah,
and you told me what breed he was.
yeah. But Rusty put one of Jesse's calves got out,
Mm-hmm.
went through the fence, and he just herded that calf back in there like he was a border collie.
Wow.
And the calf would start one way, and he'd go that way and run towards it, and just like,
Yeah.
he just had
Like
a
he
whole
knew.
bunch of smarts in
It
him.
was in him to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Rusty went everywhere I did, and I was scared a couple times. You know, it ain't like it was a super highway, just be on the Pumpkin Center, King Wilkinson Road, whatever.
Yeah.
And he had a couple close calls, but he pretty much, I'd holler at him when his car coming, get over here, you know.
Yeah.
He'd get off the road. And
Yeah. Must have been it sounded like he was a good dog.
oh, yeah.
Yep. Is that the only dog you had that you can think of?
I don't remember another dog because Rusty, during Tucker's camp meeting,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in the Army, he got run over. His hearing got bad,
Mm.
and somebody run over and killed him.
Was y'all walking?
Huh?
Was y'all walking on the road when he
Yeah.
got hit?
No, I was in the Army, and he was just
He was exploring.
out, and got out in the road, and he
Yeah.
couldn't hear good. And
Right. Yeah.
just-
Well. What about your chores? Did you have chores?
have what?
Chores? Like chores to do at home?
Oh, mainly just carrying in stove wood.
Mm-hmm. Nothing else that
I
you
don't
can think of?
remember mowing a yard or
Yeah. Nothing like that.
no.
Did you help with the garden
I chopped.
stuff?
Yeah,
Chop wood?
chop wood. You know,
Yeah.
stove wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember busting some pretty good logs. I mean,
Yeah.
firewood. I mean, heating wood.
Yeah. Eating wood.
The heat the house. It was.
Oh, I thought you said eating wood. I thought
No,
you
it
meant
was
like
in the living room. It had like a
cooking stove.
I think you call them a trash burner.
Yeah.
It was real thin walls, and they'd get red hot on the side sometimes.
Yeah. Well.
And of course, later on, me and Brandon claimed that if Daddy was, when he was later on, he'd have the door open and it'd be 90 degrees in the new living room.
Yeah.
Me and Brandon said if he would have been the fireman on the old steam train.
Yeah.
Said if Daddy was putting the wood in the firebox, said the front wheels would have come off the ground
It would have been
when he took off. Yeah.
Golly. What about school? Where did you go to school?
Rock Springs. Well, from 1 to the 12th grade.
Rock Springs School.
Yeah.
But
I didn't finish. It was in the 9th grade, I reckon.
Yeah.
And
why did you stop going to school?
I don't know. I went to work making $1.15, or might have been $1.10.
Yeah.
An hour.
Is that what you wanted to do? Or you felt like you kind of had to do it? I just wasn't crazy
about school. That's just all there is to it.
Right. So you had opportunity to go to work and you just said, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like anything about school? Any parts? Any subjects?
Well, I like science.
Science?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
How would you describe the clothes that you wore growing up?
I don't know. Some of the clothes later on is clothes that you didn't want to get too close to fire, like a outdoor fire.
Yeah.
Because it's polyester and they just melt and stick to your leg.
Yeah. So you remember being aware, having an awareness of that though. Like you was wearing cotton and natural clothes for a number of years and then
and then polyester come along.
Yeah. And it's so flammable. Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were a kid and somebody would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or did you have a desire for some certain thing?
No, not that I can ever remember.
No.
I must have wanted to be a guitar picker because I went to Nashville when I was 14 years old, but that's another story.
That's a good story for right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, David McCracken and me was friends. He sung a lot of, he lived like down below Triangle. And he sung a lot of Hank Williams Sr. songs, picked the guitar, and I picked the mandolin some and played the guitar. And he had this idea about, let's go to Nashville. And we made up an excuse like we was helping my brother Calvin. I don't know whether we was digging a septic tank or was digging out for his garage, carport, whatever. Doing something like that. Just I don't remember the exact excuse, but we just walked out on the road just as soon as we left the school and just walked out there, and a man come by in a 60, I think it was a 63 Chevrolet. And I must say it had a 409 engine in it. But he was a traveling salesman going to Little Rock. And David said, we're trying to get to my kin people in Nashville. Like, hadn't seen them in a long time. And so there we went. The whole way he lent us out. And of close to Ernie's record shop on Highway 70. That's before 40 come along.
Yeah.
I remember it was riding up through there on 70 on one of the, like the French Broad or Second Broad or way up the country somewhere. And he said in the movie Thunder Road, that was like 1957, Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
And he said there's where Junior Johnson come rolling down through there and went this way and that way, weaving the car, and said he turned the car over and met the revenues, which is driving a,
Chasing
he
him.
was in like a 38 or 940 Ford.
Yeah.
And the revenues, I think, was in a 57 Ford. And he met him coming back and lost him that time. But his Junior Johnson, he had been running moonshine for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So
And he could drive.
the salesman that was driving y'all said this is where that occurred. This is where.
No, David said this is the place in the
Oh.
movie that right there.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like a gravel place on the side of the road,
Yeah.
and that's where he'd.
Flipped around.
He was from Waynesville, so
Uh-huh.
he'd been up that way before, and
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
told him that, I guess. And David told about a man that had a chain come off his bicycle, and he's coming off of Black Mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on Highway 70. And said the chain come off, and he was barefooted. And a highway patrolman, he said that might have been a 1954 model car,
Mm-hmm.
pulled up beside of him and clocked him running 70 miles an hour going down that mountain.
Oh my gosh.
And the highway patrolman just turned his lights and siren on and like stayed in front of him because he was already going too fast. He didn't want to wreck.
Right. Yeah.
And so he leveled out down there at the
Wow.
bottom of the mountain.
That's scary.
And he coasted and
Yeah.
didn't get killed.
Good grief.
Yeah.
I hope I would not want that to happen. How old were you when you and David did that?
14.
14. Did you have money?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, but you did
No.
have some money.
Yeah, I mean, we might have had $3 or $4, $5 a piece, maybe.
Yeah. But so how did you eat and
Well,
what
we
did you
didn't-
do?
Well, we stopped at a hamburger joint. It didn't
Yeah.
take but like 5.5 hours to get there.
Right.
But we stopped. I don't know how many times we stopped to get gas,
Yeah.
but stopped and got something to eat. And I don't know, it was a hamburger, cheeseburger, something.
Yeah.
Just a drink, and
Right. And then when
it
you
didn't
got
cost
there,
that much.
when you got there,
Well, we walked on around in front of the Ryman Auditorium. We wanted to see that
yeah.
special.
Yep.
And we just walked around and started back towards Murfreesboro
Yeah.
after we had, well, that's another story. They was like a gang, and they started hollering at us. And, but anyway, they asked us what time it was or something, and David said, let's start walking. We just kept walking
Get away
faster.
from there. Yeah.
And then they was kind of nasty about it, and
Yeah.
we went across this ball field and stadium.
Yeah.
And got on the other side of it, and then that's when we started toward Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know how far we'd walked, and then like a couple deputies stopped, and they picked us up, and I guess the only thing they could, the police came by, or deputies, county probably, and they locked me and David up in jail in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I guess what the charge was vagrancy, or
Yeah.
and being young, and
Yeah.
they had to do something to get us off the street because we was young, I reckon.
Right. Yeah.
But we had cornbread and white beans, whatever, navy beans or
I don't know.
just white beans.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a whole lot of flavor. And it took David's daddy and my daddy 11 hours to get to where we was.
Wow.
And it took us 5.5.
That guy was just getting it like that? Like really speeding or?
Yeah. Wow.
Golly.
I mean,
He was he
85,
after
90
Junior
miles an hour.
Johnson?
And then just wait till you got to the curve to slow down, and when you come out of curve, just punch it and just
Punch it.
going up the road.
Golly. Wow.
He had to be in Little Rock a certain time.
Do you remember how much trouble you got in when that happened?
They didn't say a whole lot of nothing when they picked us up.
Yeah. Well.
I mean,
Well, you got to see what you went to see anyway.
and we got to go back. Yun sent us back there.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
got to see Ricky Skaggs.
Yep. That was at the
And we
Ryman.
got to all about, I'd say, I can't remember, I'd say 1,500 people. I'd have been more than that.
Yeah.
The last song, everybody joined in and sung Nothing But the Blood of Jesus.
At the Ricky Skaggs concert?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I know.
I heard him on the Gaither singing say, somebody told me that I was so heavenly minded I ain't no earthly good, and he said, that's all right with me.
Yeah.
He didn't care what they thought about it.
Yeah.
Now you tried to go to Nashville another time, didn't you? When you was younger? Started walking, or you was going?
Not that I know of.
I remember a story like that. Like you just was going to run away from home and go walking, and
That might have been Opie Taylor.
no, it was you. I think you had your guitar with you. Maybe it'll come to
Maybe
you.
I blocked that out. I don't know.
People told me that story.
They just made that up.
Maybe Jan and Brenda was trying to
Yeah,
start trouble.
caused trouble because I took the radio button. Or something.
Probably. Oh, goodness. Well, I know music is a hobby, but you can talk about that hobby, but did you have other hobbies as a kid? And now, anytime, but
Walking in the woods, rambling.
rambling.
I'm a rambler.
Explore and investigate and stuff.
And never had no trouble till lately. And then the places that is the best place to ramble, I've got,
People don't want you there.
they won't.
Yeah.
I said, no, I won't be back. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad that places you can't explore no
Yeah.
more. Do you remember what y'all did in the evening? Like when your dad came home from work, y'all come home from school, like what was it like in the evening?
Well, Mama was probably cooking supper for when Daddy got in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I would say they'd work till like 4:30 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have homework to
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
Everybody had homework.
Yeah. Did you do it?
I guess I did. I don't know whether I don't know.
As much as you remember you did
Yeah.
anyway.
I was making A's and B's for the longest time, and then this lost
Lost
in-
interest, yeah. Yeah.
But that ain't something to.
No, this
Teach
ain't
you
an
great-
advertisement for doing
No,
that,
Everybody needs to learn
but it's reality.
something. Yeah.
But as you were growing up, if somebody, like you said, you didn't finish, like you finished the 9th grade or you stopped going in the 9th grade,
Yeah.
in that time era, you could do that and still get a job and still,
Oh, yeah.
but you can't do that now. So it's not, no. Nobody's going to say, well, that's what I'm going to do. Because
No.
they know they
That'd
can't
be
get
the
away with
wrong
that.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Learn all you can and learn something.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to trade school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go to college, especially
Yeah.
not now,
Yeah.
because they just teach you to be
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
I can't.
Teach you to be dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
That about explains it, because that's
Yeah.
pretty much what it seems like. What about your friends, like elementary school friends? Did you have a really good friend, close friend that comes to mind?
David.
It was David. Had
Yeah.
he been your friend for a lot of years?
Well, no, it was, I'm going to say probably the 5th or 6th grade when he moved from Waynesville.
Uh-huh.
And I stayed at his house and he stayed at my house some. And
Yeah.
he had brothers and sisters. And he told me about David was real stout because they like hauled hay and things.
Yeah.
And got muscled up.
Mm-hmm.
And he had an Uncle Vaughn McCracken. He lives in Cherryville, I found out later.
Yeah.
But that was up in Waynesville. And he said his uncle grabbed hold of him and put him in a bear hug. And he said, "Okay, Uncle Vaughn," said, "if you don't quit, I'm going to hurt you." And said they stumbled and they fell on the bed.
Yeah.
And it cracked 7 of his Uncle Vaughn's ribs when they hit the bed.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't turn loose and his Uncle Vaughn didn't either.
Yeah.
But
Good
he
grief.
was stout.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Do you remember traveling as a kid? Like, did
I
y'all
remember
go?
we'd go to the mountains,
mountains,
and
yeah.
that'd be probably everybody, all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know how we all got in there, but.
Yeah. Well.
And I guess, you'd see, we didn't have somebody to take a picture.
Yeah.
You'd have a picture took of us sitting eating.
Yeah.
And then somebody wouldn't be in the picture. That's
Right.
the cameraman or camera girl.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whoever it was.
Yeah.
So that makes me think about having a camera. Like, was that
was
a
like
major luxury?
a Kodak, I forget what they call them, box camera.
Yeah.
And you could hold it straight up, tall, or lay it down this way, either one.
Yeah.
And you'd look down at it and
see the view. Yeah.
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 But Daddy took a good many pictures way back.
Yeah. Yep. I remember a picture of you over at the rock quarry holding a rabbit that one of y'all shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had a dark hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a BB gun, probably.
Probably. Was that, do you think having a camera was a luxury, or did everybody probably have a camera? What would you say about
It might
that?
have been a luxury for us. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like it would have been to,
Yeah.
because they were newer, like a newer thing. How did y'all celebrate holidays and birthdays? Do you remember having a party or a cake or Christmas tree?
Remember Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I
Did
don't
y'all
know.
go to some family's house for those holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving,
No,
or
we'd be
people
at
come to
home.
you? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And then, did you have a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cedar. We'd all
Just go cut down a cedar.
the youngins would go out and look for
Yeah.
a tree.
Yeah.
And I remember going out looking for a tree, and it was like really cold and like icy.
Gosh.
And yeah. Like going over towards 150.
Mm-hmm.
Not that way. Down there's a creek. But anyway.
Yeah. For perspective.
And my feet was just probably close to frostbite.
Yeah.
And I had like plastic, I think it was bread bags on
yeah.
my feet over the socks, and they must have leaked, and it was
Yeah.
just cold.
Yeah.
And it put my feet in cold water. And I said, well, why you been doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Said, because it'd be worse if you put your feet in hot water.
Hot water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even the cold water was not as cold as your feet was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still hard to do. Do you remember having birthday cakes?
I don't remember.
Don't remember that.
I'm sure I had to have birthday cakes. Everybody did, but I don't remember.
You just don't remember it. Yeah. Yeah.
There's another story. The reason I don't remember it, probably.
What?
I said the reason that I don't remember things maybe was because I drank. I don't know if that has anything
It could
to
be.
do.
I mean, it could have affected your memory, but you might.
It should have affected yours.
Because you drank.
Yeah, because we were sitting around drinking, and
Yeah.
you just go around and pick up whatever, don't matter what it was to drink, and just pick it up.
Try to drink it.
It might, half of it go on you, and then
Yeah.
some of it might have alcohol in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when
But you didn't drink
when
enough
that
to-
happens a time or two, you learn after.
Yeah. Not to set your drink around.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's talk about a touchy topic. Religion. It ain't touchy for us, but
Well, yeah.
do you remember your family going to church?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember where?
Yeah. Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many years ago it was, somebody said, she was your Sunday school teacher. And I can't remember what her name was.
Yeah.
At Lebanon.
A lady that
And I
was
remember being in a play.
at Lebanon.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, I just had a little short, I had to
Yeah.
recite something. And, well, some things you can't tell. There was somebody behind the curtain that give me a hand signal,
Yeah.
and I done it back to him.
Oh, oh
And
no.
he was hid. And everybody seen me. but
Everybody
I
saw
didn't
you
know
do
what that was. Yeah. I didn't know what that was about. Something about a bird. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious. He set you
Danny
up.
Lawn. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember?
And I worked for him hauling hay, helping get hay up
Yeah.
sometime later.
Later on,
Yeah.
when he wasn't flying birds around.
Yeah.
Do you remember anybody in your family when they got saved? Like, do you remember that? Does it stand out in your memory, or nothing else from church? Just the
No, I remember a
play.
woman, I think her name was Cora, but I think they called her Core,
Mhm.
but I don't know her last name. It might have been Abernathy. But there was a comedian or actor. His name was Joe E. Brown. And he had a big mouth and looked like he could swallow a softball almost,
Yeah.
And this woman had a big mouth, and she'd come towards me at church at Lebanon.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm going to bite your head off. And I was scared to death of that woman. I thought she could have bit my head off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You think she was just being silly,
Yeah.
but it scared you?
Yeah, it scared me. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet so.
But I don't know how old I was. I guess
Yeah.
maybe 7. I don't know.
Yeah, just small enough to be scared by.
And I remember
An adult.
Gaither Lawn sung tenor. He would sing at church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about do you remember any goals or dreams that you had for anything? as you were growing up? No?
No.
Nothing?
I can't think of nothing. I mean, people say, "Oh, I always want to be a fireman or a policeman," but
Yeah.
I didn't have
think
any.
about that. Yeah.
I didn't think about.
Right. Let's talk about your jobs and your profession. Talk about your early jobs first, and then
Well, I just worked in furniture, different ones. I worked in like I guess called foam rubber. We'd saw foam rubber for cushions for chairs and couches.
Yeah. Okay. So you worked in furniture.
Worked in furniture and like put buttons in chair backs and couch backs, whatever, and sawed foam rubber at a different place in Conover. Me and Jimmy worked there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Krause. And we decided we're musicians.
Yeah.
And that blade with no teeth in it and sawing that stuff, you wouldn't even know you was cut till you'd done be missing a finger, you know.
Yeah.
Because you'd cut like 5 cushions at a time, just send them through and turn them, and didn't work there no long time.
Yeah.
But
y'all decided
different, like frame shops for furniture and upholstering shops, furniture.
Yeah.
But Larry Sharp come along one day and said, well, I had worked at Arnell Homes, and then Larry Sharp said, Robin Dellinger might be hiring, and I'm still working for him, and that's been about 41 years now.
Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah. And I don't do a whole lot, but still, I mean, I'm able, I might as well do what I can do. And the pay's good enough.
Yeah.
Sand and drywall.
Yeah. Well, and I know you ain't going to toot your own horn, but I will. You good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't keep doing something that long and not be good at it and get a good reputation.
That's probably the reason that the people I work for now, when I'll get done with the job, they say, how much owe you, John? And I'll say, a price. And they said, oh, that ain't enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you more, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't see that happening every day.
Do it right. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Still do it right.
Right. And
when I first started doing it, it's like I had tears in my eyes. I said, I'll never be able to finish this little
keep doing it.
job, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's a piece of cake once you learn.
Yeah. Well, and your body's used to doing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a difference. Moving certain muscles and stuff like that, getting used to it.
Yeah.
Did you was working in the furniture places and stuff like that and at Arnell? When did you go into the military? Into the Army?
Oh, I was working with Hahn Contracted Company out of Pennsylvania. And we was putting in a gas pipeline. And it started like, kind of probably I got onto it, maybe it was Pilot Knob Road down 16. And we went like up around Maiden, and I guess crossed over the Maiden Road on up the country, and I got my draft notice. It was like the first part of April, and it was like 2 weeks till I was be going in the Army. And I said, I ain't gonna strike another lick at any kind of work.
Yeah.
Because 1 week working for that company, I got paid for 108 hours.
Oh,
we was working 7/12s.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'd work 15, you know.
Man, they was wanting to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the job that we was doing then, they do it now in just like a a fifth of the time, you know.
Yeah, they have different tools, better
Different
tools.
equipment, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to mention on the video that we're getting bombarded with acorns by
Yeah.
a squirrel above us.
Yeah.
I just got smacked on the arm, and they're very high up, so they hurt.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Yeah. So you got that draft notice. What year would that have been? How old were you?
19, I guess. Dog, can you jump up on my lap? Can you jump? Can I jump? This is Trump Dog.
Yep. Best dog ever.
So I'm about 15 pounds. And whatever Johnny B says to do, I do it.
Yep.
So we'll come out the road walking in the woods on a trail. I say, get behind me, dog. And he'll just come get right behind me. And I'll turn around, I won't see him. And I said, well, where'd that dog get to? And he's about a foot from your heel. That's where he's at.
He's right there where
So
you
you told me
him
to get
be.
behind you.
Yep.
Right? Yep, that's what you told me.
You said you were 19 when you got your draft notice? And how long did you stay in the Army?
2 years.
2 years.
And I was in Panama about 19 and a half months.
Yeah.
And 98% of the company out of New Jersey, Fort Dix, New Jersey, went to Vietnam.
Wow.
I don't know why. I mean, out of the battalion.
Yeah, that's where they got sent. And you got sent to Panama.
Yeah. And then I hadn't been there long, and somebody asked me, said, can you type? And we was in infantry.
Yeah.
You know, foot soldiers.
Yeah.
And I said, I can type about 15 words a minute. I think I lied.
Yeah.
I could probably type 12 words a minute, but I couldn't type. But
yeah,
didn't have to type fast no way. But
yeah,
well, you got the job, and I was changed my MOS to 76Y20, I think what it was, and there was supply clerk, and then
supply
I got
clerk. You said,
yeah,
yeah,
and I got another thing that you was bonded or whatever you want to call it, and I was able to carry in my truck with the radio. I could carry things that nobody else could carry.
Yeah.
Because of what
because you were bonded.
Weapons there was, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a time that we loaded Jeeps up on a ship, and that same time we was going out to stay out in the boonies, what we called it, out in the jungle, for 6 weeks, and rode through the water out on the ocean and boarded that ship with that a trailer behind my 5/4 ton truck, and had a trailer behind it. I knowed it was overloaded.
Yeah.
And got almost to the top of this ramp, and I'm just guessing, I'm gonna say it was 80 feet long.
Wow.
Going up into the ship.
Yeah.
And got almost to the top, and I was in 4-wheel drive, and it started bouncing and slid all the way back down, and I thought it was going in the ocean. And I tried it again, and an officer asked me after I tried again and went all the way back down, he said, do you mind if this sergeant drives this thing and see if he can make it out there? And he got almost to the top, and he went back down, almost went in the ocean. And I said, let me get back in there and everybody get on each side when I get to the top, and let people on both sides push.
Yeah.
Because it just won't
make it. Yeah.
All these Jeeps has got the ramp wet.
Right.
So that time I got it after, and I had a guitar in there, and somebody stole it. Some of the people just wanted to borrow it, you know, and I said, yeah, go ahead. And they just hid it from one place to another when they'd go try to look. So, yeah, all you'd have to do is just move it around to another place.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But you got that truck and trailer on with the people pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. It just needed a little extra help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a question I know the answer to, but did you ever get married?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember her name?
I think her name was Sue. I had to think about that.
Yeah. Do you remember when, where, and how you met?
A friend of mine, Danny Holler,
Mm-hmm.
was a friend of her older brother, Cliff. And we never tied all that together.
Yeah.
But Danny would, go over there, and Danny said, you ought to see if you can date that Cliff's sister. Cute little old thing.
Yeah.
And she is.
She's
my cutie pie. Yeah, and so I went and seen her a few times, and we'd date. And she was young, and
yeah,
it was a while before her mom would let us date, and I think her sister Sharon talked to Mama into letting us go out, and maybe might have.
I think she went with you some, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go down to Stanley, and it was a little place like a milkshake place or something.
Yeah.
Right on this little small place, and get something to eat or drink.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember where you were working when you met Mom?
I worked at R&L soon after that, but I can't remember where it was.
Not for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you got engaged? Specifically?
I don't know, something about Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Seemed like a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then what about
it might have been the following March.
Yeah.
The 15th.
So you got engaged pretty soon after y'all started going out.
No.
You mean?
Well,
no.
it's like
I heard you wrong.
we had met, and like it was a year later that we got married. As far as I know.
Right.
Like we got married in 74, and so I guess we met in 73.
Okay. So you dated about a year before you got married. Yeah. Where did you get married?
York, South Carolina.
Yeah. And talk to me about that day and who went and what was that like?
Well, Sue's mama went.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many witnesses you had to have, one or two.
Usually two. I think she said your mom and dad went. Mom said.
Yeah.
Did you go on a honeymoon?
Yeah. You know the Lynn Cove Viaduct?
Mm-hmm.
It was near I guess, Lynn Creek.
Right near that area.
And you could look up and see. We was in a 57 Chevrolet. Yeah. And there was a little small single wide that her sister's husband he'd bought or rented or leased or whatever. Yeah. And there was a lake. Yeah. I call it a lake because I'll just say it was probably maybe 3 or 4 acres, a pond, lake. Mm-hmm. You could look across and see the mountains in the background. But you could just look up at Grandfather Mountain. It was in March, and it snowed while I was there. Yeah. That makes me think of just a fun fact for me that
I
You know-
remember so many of y'all's anniversaries that it snowed. Like, we get snow in March, which is
Yeah.
weird, but it's happened a lot on y'all's anniversary.
Me and your mama went back less than 3 months ago.
Mhm.
She wanted to go see if we could find a place we was on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And that was, after we'd been married 50 years. And
Yeah.
we went, and I didn't think we was ever gonna. I guess I turned wrong and
Yeah.
just went around the bend and said, "Well, this is it."
So you
I mean,
found
you
it.
had to drive for like
Yeah.
over an hour
Uh-huh.
on dirt roads
Yeah.
just to get to where we was.
Even
Probably
now,
didn't-
dirt roads?
Yeah,
Golly.
yeah. And that 57 Chevrolet with the 301 engine in it, Buick, I think.
Mhm.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Oh, I worked at R&L because when I would leave R&L, I'd just go just a little piece, and I said, I like the sound of them twin pipes, and that they blended both pipes. They would just talk to each other like.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I'm gonna take off again and go through the gears.
Just go through them and then
Just to
stop
hear it-
and then
just
take
to
off
get to
again.
hear it
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
That's a good vehicle. Was that your vehicle?
I bought it. I think I give $300, and Neil Real lived on Henry Dellinger Road.
Yeah.
Had it for sale.
Well, what was it?
It was
What
a
year?
white 57 Chevrolet, a 4-door.
Yeah.
But the engine was bored out, 301. It had like different, something to do about the valves, and had an aluminum flywheel, and it would turn 7,000 RPMs, and the engine would never float. It would have just keep climbing.
Just go.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good car.
Yeah.
What was Mom's occupation? Nothing when you got married, but do you remember when she started working, what she did?
She sewed. She still sews.
Yeah.
And she worked at different places, Catawba Sock,
Glove mill.
I guess,
Magla. Yeah.
Newton, Magla. Yeah, furniture, McCrary Modern.
Yeah. All kind of places.
Yeah, Worky John.
A worky job.
I was still Johnny, but
Worky John. Yeah, at kicking.
yeah, he lived in Stanley.
Worky John.
Yeah.
Okay, don't be too mean to her, but describe her personality.
Well,
You're gonna pick on her.
she's not as outgoing about. If I want to go see somebody, I'll just go see them. And nah, I don't want to.
She's not into visiting people. Right. Yeah.
And she ain't crazy about people coming either. But
right. Yeah.
I don't care. I'm tickled if somebody comes.
Yeah. She's not a social butterfly.
I reckon.
Yeah.
But she's a cutie pie.
Yeah. She's your cutie pie.
Yeah.
It's a good thing she likes you. She lets you come over and be here, stay here.
Yeah.
What about what do you love most about her? He said no. I want to get up more.
Jump down.
All right. What do you love most about her?
She's just easy to get along with.
Yeah.
She don't complain about stuff. Yeah. And I do. And she puts up with me, I reckon.
That's a good thing. How would you describe your first home together with Mama?
She liked it less than I did.
Yeah.
Because I was probably away and she was there by herself, and it was in a house that
It was big, wasn't it?
big house.
Yeah. Tell me where it's at.
On Slanton Bridge Road. Is that what you call that road now?
Yeah, I think it's
It
there.
is.
It's Slanton
Always
Bridge.
was, or
Yeah.
maybe they call it something
And
else.
it's in the corner of Slanton Bridge and that road Christian Ministries was on, but I can't think of the name of the road.
Well, the Christian Ministries used to be on.
Yeah.
And that's something,
Right.
whether it's got something to do with Pine something,
Maybe.
or
Yeah. Pine Knoll or something.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
Pine Knoll might be down that road.
Yeah. But it was a big
It used
two-story
to
house.
be dirt then.
What?
No, just the one
Oh, it was a one-story. It
Where
just
we
looks
lived
like a
when we-
two-story house.
after we
Kinda.
got married.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who had lived in that house before?
The Hagers, and I think Doug Hager may have lived in that later. Yeah, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure he did.
Yeah.
Doug and his wife. And
But so she didn't like being there by
Steve,
herself.
Steve's kids would come over.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When y'all lived there?
Yeah, there's little bitty kids that come over.
Yeah.
I guess they've stayed at Bob's or,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Bob and Helen.
So, how long did y'all live there? Roughly,
I'll say months.
just a few months.
But our power bill was like $5. I mean, we
Was
didn't
that
have
good or bad?
we didn't have a washer and dryer,
Yeah,
so we'd take our clothes to Maiden and
to the
wash
laundry,
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out on
and then hang them on the
321.
line at home.
No, we dried them too.
Wash and dry them at the laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't remember whether we moved the next place. Might have been on Wingate Hill Road, Alice. I'm not sure.
It wasn't
You was,
beside Grandma and Grandpa.
yes,
next.
we did.
Yeah,
I tried to block that out of my mind. The little
the
38
little bitty
foot
trailer. Yeah,
trailer, 8 foot wide,
yeah.
38 foot counting the
I think that was
tongue.
before zoning rules started happening.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there was two
Jerry-
houses on
Jerry-
the property.
Story pulled it first. I think
Yeah,
it was $800 or $1,000 it cost, and
yeah.
he didn't charge nothing. He just pulled it over and
Just pulled it.
put it out.
Where'd you get
it? On the Buffalo Shoals Road.
From a used trailer guy?
Huh?
Just from a used trailer guy?
No, I mean it was just somebody had lived in there, and
Oh, and they was
it
selling.
was just out beside their
Okay.
house, and
Yeah.
I think it was. I'll say it was south of Oliver's Crossroads where that trailer was.
Yeah.
But it could have been south of the East Maiden Road.
Yeah.
Towards Lampton.
Hmm.
But I don't know for sure.
So y'all lived in what I'll just call the Hager house. And then you bought that trailer, single
Yeah.
wide, and lived beside Grandma and Grandpa.
And then we moved with, I don't know when we lived beside Aunt Sue compared to when we lived.
I'd
On
say
Wingate
probably
Hill.
next. Well, I don't know. I remember living next to Sue and LB,
It might have been later.
but I
when we
remember
lived there.
living next to Alice Downs too.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
one or the other was next.
Yeah.
So Wingate Hill on the Alice Downs property, Alice and Dwight.
Yeah.
And then besides Sue Lineberger,
Yeah.
what was the name of that road? Now,
Hamburger Road.
oh, it's near Mount Pleasant Road.
Turns off of Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. And that was called Lineberger Road.
Yeah.
And there was two single wides right next to each other, wasn't it? Hers and ours. No, maybe she had a double wide. I don't remember.
side of Sue?
Yeah.
I think it was just one single wide there.
What did Sue live in? A house?
Block house.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
still
remembered
there.
it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot.
And it was Nolan Lineberger's brother, Virgil and Benson.
Hmm.
I don't know whether they was brothers or just cousins.
Maybe cousins.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I ought to know.
Yeah. They had some property around in there.
And Graydon, Janie's mama lived on after the road.
Who?
Graydon Lineberger.
Paul's wife, Janie?
Janie's daddy, and I don't know if it was mama and daddy or just daddy. Graydon Lineberger run a store on Pumpkin Center Road, King Wilkinson, at the end of Faye Jones Road.
Oh, yeah.
Graydon.
Yeah.
Or Grady.
Lineberger.
Yeah.
So
But we're chasing a rabbit now. We don't
well, I
know.
know. I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
You're talking about Janie, Paul and Janie's Janie.
Yeah.
Your Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
And, okay. So I'm just trying to, for the viewers to
She was a Lineberger.
put it
She
together.
had a
Yeah.
Indian motorcycle.
I didn't-
1946.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's more.
She did?
She did. I believe there's a picture somewhere with her
Yeah.
sitting on that motorcycle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to interview Steve too. Maybe he can tell me about that.
Yeah. It'd be good if you could
Yeah.
interview Janie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I just was trying to make sure I clarify it for everybody.
Paul would, he played with mandolin and fiddle. And I remember later on in his years, he would say, I'm going to go see so-and-so after a while. They might need some company or just older people than him.
Yeah.
And he'd be going to visit them to see how they was. And
Yeah. You do that, don't you?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You like to visit.
Yeah.
How about, here's a question I know the answer to. Do you have any children? And which one is your favorite?
I met a man one time. He had a shirt that said, like, I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
And it's tough. And he had a shirt on it that said that, And I met a man just not many days ago. He said, I don't know how I got through it, but I got 3 daughters. I said, I feel for you.
Are you trying to tell me something?
No. But I don't know. I don't know how it would be with 3 sons,
Yeah.
John Cockman had, I think he had 3 sisters. It might have been more sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But he said they snuck up in the attic of the house. I don't know where they lived in Lenore. But anyway, he said, I put Daddy's shoes on. He was younger. And walked up the steps. He knowed they had went up there and got a deck of cards, and they was playing penny poker or something. And that was, his daddy was a preacher.
Yeah.
And John got in his daddy's shoes and stomped up the steps. And he could hear him in there shuffling around, hiding the money and the cards.
Yeah.
He opened the door and he gave them trouble, and they give him trouble back.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Yeah. That's a good way to handle it, though. So,
That was like me taking the radio button off of the
yes.
radio.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to give your siblings a hard time, for
Yeah.
sure. Makes
And
good
one
memories.
I can't even remember which daughter it was now, of the 3, said, Mama, she's looking at me. and your mama said, "Oh, I wouldn't. Don't be looking at her. You know, that's terrible. Don't be looking at nobody." Yeah.
It was me or Lisa, I'm sure,
Yeah.
fussing about the other one. So,
And Aaron was the ham.
yes. Yeah.
I would be filming Lisa playing the contrabass of the clarinet or what?
Yeah,
What
clarinet.
Saxophone.
Saxophone?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But she'd be out there showing me what she'd doing. All of a sudden, a head would come in the picture, you know, just like that. Aaron had to get in the picture.
Had to get in there. Yeah. She's not camera shy, that's for sure.
No.
So, and this I'll just say for the listeners that listen to this 20 years from now, it's Jenny and Lisa and Aaron in that order. So, I think I have maybe some questions.
The hummingbirds keep flying around. It's time to go to roost, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting on my sugar water to get this
Oh,
good and
they was
dissolved.
hoping for a drink before
They'll
they
get
go
a
to
drink
bed.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I hope they come back.
Yeah, they will. They will. Do you remember when you found out you were gonna be a dad? What was that like? No. Your life
I just
never
know
been
if
the
they
same.
told me it was a girl, I was holy terror. or whatever.
What were you gonna name the baby if it was a boy?
I can't tell. Jason.
Jason.
Yeah. And right back here behind me, I wrote it on the outside of the metal on this thing.
On the trailer?
Jason something. I can't
The
remember
name
what it
that
was.
you would have named him?
Yeah. He was going to be a boy.
I was
But,
supposed to be a boy.
Well, I hope some of that rubbed off on me, the boy.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't know.
I'm part boy, part girl, I think.
And Lisa
Habits-wise.
was a tomboy, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I think being raised out here in the country and
Yeah.
rambling with you helped us be that way too.
And then Aaron, I think was Lisa was doing the leaf thing.
A leaf?
The different leaves. And me and you and Lisa and Jenny, you and
Yeah.
Lisa and Aaron
Them?
went
Yeah.
down like St. James Road and went out in the woods and was looking at different trees. And
Mm-hmm.
Aaron had to go to the bathroom. And she wouldn't do it because she's out in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to go to a service station or something. And I don't know which one of you talked her into
going
in the woods.
in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably told her we've done it plenty of times. It won't hurt you.
Yeah. And y'all, I hope you still know how to build a fire.
Yeah.
I taught you that when you was like 4 and 5. I don't know. You might have been.
You taught us how to do a lot of good stuff like that.
Yeah.
Use tools.
And I'd tell Lisa, I said, we was up in the mountain somewhere, out in the middle of nowhere. It was like a thing this wide or what.
Yeah.
I said, if you can do it, just do it. Don't be scared of it,
Yeah.
She was walking on it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
Well,
get your balance.
how many times did you take us up the little mountain towers?
Ooh.
Ooh,
You was the one that
mostly me.
It was like ice, I think it was. I'm pretty sure. And there was little old, like 2-inch
Bars.
angle iron that the steps was bolted to, and the steps was gone.
Yeah.
And I just carried you up, and I'd make sure I held on.
Get a hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
Went
here.
up to the top of the tire. Gerald and Daddy was fishing on the farm of David Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they'd started fishing yet, but a truck pulled up, and I don't know what kind of car. It was probably a 2-tone. It wasn't an Oldsmobile. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a Buick. I can't remember what it was. But mine had a vinyl top. But anyway, So somebody pulled up in a pickup, and Gerald didn't see who it was, and he asked Gerald if he could move his car so they could drive across the dam at the pond. And he just got in the car and just moved it and like give them 18 more inches so they could, get by.
Yeah.
And Gerald said he'd never forget it. It was Tony Cloninger and Hank Aaron.
Oh my goodness.
Can you forget that?
No.
And
No.
down here in North Carolina, and I
Yeah.
don't even know where
Well, Tony Cloninger played.
Yeah, but
Professional,
he saw
didn't Yeah.
Tony before, but
Yeah, but not
he
Hank
didn't
Aaron.
know Hank Aaron was going to be in there with him in
Yeah.
the truck driving across the dam.
Golly.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
Um,
And he had another story.
Yeah.
About being in, it might have been Athens, Georgia, when he was in the Air Force.
mhm.
And he come out of the bathroom, and there's a fella said, you ought to come on up and listen to the show. There was like 3 different floors, and there was different music on each floor. And he said, I don't even have enough money to for the cover charge. And he said, I done spent all my money on beer. And he said, come on up. And said, I'll buy you a beer. And said, you don't have to pay the cover charge.
Mhm.
And it was Mel Tillis.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
That was
So just
some
come on up.
Athens, Georgia.
I think
They
so.
was having a show down there.
Yeah.
He just happened to be in the right
But you
place.
can have to interview Gerald if you. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
when.
hope that I'll get to. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a little better at it.
But that's
Practice.
going to be good when we have that dry family, and we're going to have sing along and sing gospel music.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Gerald's buddy Coley Hired's going to be there.
Yeah. Maybe we figure out how to get Gerald down there.
Well, he's going to be down there. He said he'd drive down here,
Well, that's good.
but I thought he had trouble at night. But it ain't that hard to get back to
In plenty of time. Yeah.
Lenore.
Yeah.
It ain't,
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't too far.
he knows how to get here. He used to get his hair cut. Melvin Poole would cut his hair.
Mhm.
And they just, lived right over there. And I don't know where Melvin's.
That
That
reminds
was a
me.
bat.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
That reminds me when you said
And he'll
Melvin
probably
Poole.
go in that house.
He might.
Yeah.
Tell me about buying cars from Bob Poole.
You could trust Bob Poole. You
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
I
Y'all
bought
bought several from him, didn't you?
a
Over the years.
69 Volkswagen. And it seemed like it had like 1,400 miles on it. And I can't remember what I paid for it, but it was a deal.
Mhm.
And when I'd have it worked on, there was a starter went out on the Volkswagen. And a man in Boger City, I just can't come up with his name right now, but everybody would know him if they ever had a Volkswagen. And he put a rebuilt starter on that Volkswagen. And he said if you took this to the Volkswagen place, it said naturally they'd put a new starter on. But said they'd charge you $200 because they said they had to take the motor out to put their starter on. He
Mhm.
said you don't have to.
You don't
do
have to
that.
do that. Yeah.
And I wished I could remember his name. But nice fella. And when it was all said and done, he had the starter in. He said, the rebuilt starter, he said, give me $12.50.
Oh my goodness.
And that was labor and
Yeah,
the starter
the whole
and everything.
thing. Yeah.
And he said, you just got to feel around up in there and where the bolts are, and you just put it in. And
Yeah.
hook the wires up, and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's good. That's good. I think remembering doing business with people you can trust.
Yeah.
Like you sent me to the guy over, small engine repair guy. You can trust him.
Yeah, he can
You know?
be trusted. Yeah.
That means a lot.
Bridges.
Bridges, yeah.
Was it Mark or no? It wasn't.
I
Mark.
can't remember his first name,
Yeah,
but it's on Asbury
No, it's on
Amity.
Amity Church Road, out by the school, not far.
Yep. Yep.
But he don't charge the arm and the leg.
He didn't charge, and he fixed it right.
Yeah.
What do you think about what city or county were your kids born in? Do you remember? Do you remember where we were born?
It was Lincoln County.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Was it? I think it was called Lincoln.
Memorial?
Was it Memorial Hospital? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was in the same building where Gamble Hospital had been, or no?
No.
It's in a different place.
No, it was on Business 321 South in Lincoln.
Oh, okay. Like
That
down toward
hospital where I was
Laboratory or somewhere down
No,
there?
it was just right. It was still in city limits.
Oh.
It's on 321.
But just a little
Pretty
bit
sure,
south.
actually. They might have called it a different street or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Where did you live when you got married? I mean, not when you got married, but like when kids started coming. We got off of where you was living or your different houses.
I don't remember.
So we talked about Weinberger and the Hager house, and then where did you live? Do you remember where you lived when I got here, too?
We could have lived in the little trailer, but I can't think of anywhere else
Yeah.
that would have been.
Yeah. I think it was that trailer next to Grandma and Grandpa. And
Your mom did she have short hair when you come along, maybe?
I think so.
But, I'd talk about her looking up at me with them pretty eyes and pretty brown hair and
Yeah.
look up at me and smile, this
Yeah.
good smile. Yeah.
When kids were born, like when I was born, did you go to the hospital? And you just
Did
waited?
I go to the hospital?
Yeah.
I was there, but I don't think
You didn't go back in the rooms
didn't
back
go
then.
in the room
Yeah.
at that time.
Right.
That was darn near 49 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so after those two places you lived, when did you own the house at the top of the hill? The Upchurch house. When did you do that house moving and all that stuff?
And then we never lived in it.
Right. But
Then
you
we
owned
just
it.
worked on it. Yeah, I owned
You
it.
bought it and where was it? Didn't you have it moved?
Bought it from my 8th grade teacher, Paul C. Hauser,
Yeah.
in Boger City. Just,
It was located in Boger City?
yeah, well, you would turn on, it's different now. The road that goes by the hospital, but it's, like I say, it's all different now. But you would go on, turn down Buffalo Shoals Road out of Langton.
Yeah.
And then turn back off to the right. And he was out there on the right.
Yep.
On the, I can't even remember the name of the road now because the hospital property took the land and the road that don't turn off like it once did.
Yeah.
Way back then.
Right. And then you had to pay to have it moved, right?
Yeah. It's like we either paid $1,800 for the house and it cost $1,400 to move it, or vice versa. But it's still
Right.
whatever that adds up to. And
Yeah. That was the total.
yeah,
And then you put it Up there beside Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah.
And then
And John Byers laid the cement block
to set it on.
to set it on the foundation.
Yeah.
And
y'all
worked with him at R&L.
Oh. Is that how you met him?
Probably.
Yeah.
John and Daddy would all go, Jimmy Krause and different people. Did I say John Byers laid the cement block to set the house on we bought from Paul Hauser, my teacher. And but anyway, John Byers, and I don't know how many girls. He had one girl named Johnny. I don't know whether it was a IE or.
Yeah.
And Blanche, and there was probably others, but Roby and Mike and Larry and Chuck, and I'm leaving somebody out. My brain just.
Was that his kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
The boys would all go up to Bryson City.
Mm-hmm.
We'd eat up there, eat breakfast, Bryson City, and it was around Cherokee and that neck of the woods, and we'd go trout fishing. But they had a motel with a kitchen in it, and there was different rooms, and I think Daddy and their daddy would stay in another room, and it was like 12 o'clock, and there was drinking going on, and one of their cousins was like kind of rowdy, loud, and John come in there. It was about 12 o'clock. We was probably watching Saturday Night Live or I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. He told them, they's all up in, in their 20s, and, he said, I'm going to take my belt off. And I mean it. You can get a whooping now,
Yeah.
It don't matter how old you are. Settle down.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have to come back.
Yeah.
I don't remember their mama much, but
yeah,
because I was around them working.
And around them more. And about when you moved the house and he did the footers. The plan was to fix up the house and live in it?
Yeah, and it's like we bought cheap plywood and put up, and it was just warped up and everything, and I think I don't know, I guess I must have quit my job. I don't know, but I guess Calvin got it, and then he sold it to David Curtis. I think that's the way it was.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you decided not to continue with that, and you sold it to Calvin.
Yeah.
And then he ultimately sold it to David Curtis. Yeah.
So, I mean, somehow or another, we had this land down here.
Yeah. And you bought
a single wide.
Single wide.
Then
from Elsie Cash?
There was two different single wides here.
Yeah, this is the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one's blue or green, and might have had rolled out windows.
Older model, yeah.
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 But anyway.
Yeah. So I can't remember if I asked you this, but do you remember which house you lived in when I was born? Oh, you said up beside Grandma and Grandpa.
I think it must have been.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember.
Yeah.
Another place.
Right. That was probably it. Yeah. I just forgot that fast.
Yeah.
What about memories of when me and Lisa and Aaron were little, and just something come to your mind, like a major life event or
Well, I had
What
to
we
think
were-
about Lisa
Yeah.
and our neighbor.
Mhm.
It was in December, and they decided that they was going to sneak off and go to the creek.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was Nicole Barnes' idea or
Yeah.
whether it was Lisa's idea. It wasn't just enough to go in the water in December.
Yeah.
They had to go under. I mean, it had to be
They had to get
cold
their
because
hair
it's
wet.
cold in the.
Yeah. It's just cold
And,
outside.
Lisa-
Yeah.
Got pneumonia a couple different times that
Yeah.
winter.
Yep.
But
I feel like I remember that she claimed they fell in. Like it was accidental, you know.
well,
I'm
I
not
understood
sure.
they was just going in the water.
They just did it.
But and then that other little girl, Jenny,
Yeah.
she was all real prissy, and everything had to just be just perfect. You know,
Yeah.
her clothes
Had to match.
had to match socks and underwear, or
Yeah.
dress
Everything.
or whatever. And then she'd fall down and she'd hold her hands up and say, "Ooh, dirty."
Yep.
But she was smart enough that my friend Danny Holler's boy,
Hmm.
Eric,
Eric. Yeah.
I said, Eric's not smart enough not to just pick rocks up off the ground and eat them, put them in his mouth.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. Jenny wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, she had more smarts. So she's a girl.
You didn't have to. Yeah, that was probably part of it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about me eating rocks.
Mm.
What about your favorite way to spend time with your kids?
Well, was probably walking in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about raising kids? Can't think of it.
The hardest
Nothing.
part.
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, I don't want to say. One of them was hard-headed, and
Yeah.
we told her not to do what she was doing, and she done it.
Yeah.
But
Well, just tell us about it.
well,
It's
I
okay.
mean, I don't know why she married the first fellow she married, but anyway.
Yeah.
But things happen, and
Yeah.
it's hard-headed, and
And I was hard headed, and I didn't learn my lesson until it was too late,
yeah,
you know. But I had to pay for that mistake. But I think long term, y'all paid for it too, because you had to watch me struggle. So that is a hard
yeah. So we just wish this wasn't this
Yeah.
way, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that probably is one of the hardest things about being a parent. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, your other two kids wasn't that hard headed.
Yeah.
So you can't win them all, can you?
No.
Oh. What about as an adult, your hobbies in music and reading? What would you
And what?
hobbies and music you like and reading? Talk to me about those things as an adult, not as a kid.
Reading?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
I know what you read all the
I've
time.
read the Bible 4 times anyway,
Yeah.
but I hadn't been reading it lately, and I just started back.
Yeah.
Just because me and Sue was in, like, I can't remember, Rock Hill or near there. And I was waiting on her. She was still shopping, and I sat down, was in a Habitat store. And I sat down and was picking up different Bibles.
Hmm.
And I said, that's not what King James says.
Yeah.
And I remember,
They're different. For
and it
sure.
was a Gideon Bible.
Yeah.
But they're not all King James.
No.
But anyway, I'm in reading Genesis now, and
Just
there's
started
things
over.
that, if you ain't read it, you forget things that's in there.
Yeah. Well, somebody was just saying to me how he's read the Bible a whole bunch of times, and he read so-and-so verse, and he said, I would almost swear I never read that before because it was different that time.
Yeah.
And that's how it works, because the word is alive,
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
Noah, he done got them by sevens, the different ones that are unclean, and then
right
by twos, different things that are clean.
Yeah.
And I never remembered by sevens.
Yeah, you didn't remember that part.
But,
yeah. Yep. What about
the world had done?
What?
Just went plumb upside down, and they's the only ones left to get it going back to
getting on there.
And it's done that. I mean, generations one will be, have a good king, and then their offspring or what maybe be king, and then they're just
bad.
Completely backwards.
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about as an adult? I know you've picked music with a whole bunch of different people, and you have a list.
Yeah, I know it's over 350
different people.
Yeah, that
on your list.
With. Yeah,
and there's some of them famous too. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your hobbies now are, well, the music picking is similar. You've done that as long as I can ever remember, but But now that you don't have to work all the time, you can go do that more when you want to go
to
jam
pick a
session.
Lot. Yeah. As soon as it cools down, I'm going to be walking. I know I am.
Yeah. And that's another thing.
So I'm going to be walking too. You want to jump on me now?
Truck's going to be going too. You probably walk a couple miles on a good walk.
Oh, yeah. And 3.5 miles.
Yeah.
In the woods, that's hard walking.
Yeah.
I mean, some people gets out and walk. So I know the fella that the doctor told him he need to walk and lose weight.
Uh-huh.
And he walked 12 miles every day.
My word.
It was a circle.
Yeah. More level.
Ernest
consistent.
Rochelle.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Ernest Rochelle?
Yeah.
Is that Norwood's brother?
Yeah.
Oh. Michael must be bringing in a trailer.
I don't know if his other brother, Brian, is still around, but Roger is still around.
Yeah. How about, do you have any close friends now? People that you would call close friends at this part of your life? Or do you just classify them all friends? Or a best friend? Or
that's like mainly it's people that I pick with, and there's good enough friends. John Cockman and Jeff Johnson and Bobby Moose.
Yeah.
Andrew Willis. I love that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He I told you, I asked him if he knowed a certain man, and he said didn't ring a bell, and I said, well, it was like 30 years ago, and he's 32, and I said, oh, that's right, that you wouldn't know him. I said, you was a stand over there in the playpen. And they said, yeah, and I had a full diaper too. So he's got a sense of humor too.
Yeah, he fits right in with your gang.
Went here and there and everywhere and picked, and he's just an easy feller to get along with. And remembered his mama from 15 years ago, and she's back to playing the fiddle. And,
yeah. They live close by?
They live around Troutman.
Oh, okay.
Next to 7721.
Yeah.
But he brought Bobby Moose with him, and they rode together to come over to pick with
Yeah.
the Dry family, and that's the most fun I've had in picking, and just it was so calm and relaxed.
Relaxed.
And there wasn't too many pickers, and
Where's that picking at?
over at Jeff Johnson's
Oh, in Pumpkin Center.
behind the Pumpkin Center.
Yeah. Yep. What about have you ever been in any clubs or organizations that you can remember?
No.
No. Where have you traveled? I know the answer is lots of places. I feel like you could say
Panama,
I've been everywhere,
but that's
man.
a different,
Yeah, Panama.
And
Well, where was your basic training? Did you
Fort
say?
Bragg.
Oh, did you say something about New Jersey? Or
That's part of it was in Fort Bragg, and then it was 6 or 8 weeks in New Jersey
so you were there too?
to do
Yeah.
advanced individual training, different guns and
Right.
different things that you needed to learn
Yeah.
to go and be out in the jungle of Vietnam. And
Yep. What about here, around here? You've been to quite a few states.
yeah, we did go. Me and Brandon went to Louisville, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure whether we talked about it or we crossed the Ohio River into Indiana, I believe. That's whatever the state is across the Ohio River.
Yeah.
And we crossed the Mississippi River, me and your mama, went over into Arkansas and
To visit
turned around and
Edna?
come back. No, we
just traveling.
when we traveling went on vacation to Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we was in Mississippi a little bit, and was in Georgia. Of course, we've been to Florida,
Yeah.
and I'd like to go back down there, but she don't
She don't
think
want
I
to
can
go.
drive no more.
Oh,
But I can.
you went to New York City one time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or more than one time?
Lisa went to New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd you go with?
Larry Nolan.
Okay.
And I can't remember whether it would have been David, probably, Nolan, and it might have been Debbie. Can't remember.
Yeah. All went to New York.
Yeah. And of course, we was in Pennsylvania getting there, and we've been to Pennsylvania a couple times visiting what used to be our neighbors.
Yeah.
Did
you get to Panama on a plane?
Yeah.
And other than that, have you ever traveled on a plane? Other than the military?
No.
No.
And it's coming. Little Mountain Airport in Ronnie.
Lomberger?
Ronnie Gillen took me on a ride from the airport in a little old Cub plane.
Yeah.
And I thought, this thing don't have enough power to even get off the ground. It's like when you left the ground, it just like the tail just
Oh,
you was
my.
like flying like that.
Yeah.
But
Was it a 2-seater?
yeah.
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 Little bit.
It didn't
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of power.
Yeah.
I think Ronnie's a deacon in church, a Baptist church, but I don't remember where.
What was his last name again?
Gillen.
Gillen. I'm about to get to the end of this interview.
Well, I hope so. Supper we have to be warmed back up. I
Yeah,
reckon.
probably.
That'll be all right.
What accomplishments are you most proud of?
I don't know.
Maybe that your
I like
kids
to-
didn't go to jail.
Oh yeah, but I like to build stuff and
Yeah,
do stuff.
right.
make stuff.
Miniature houses and
Yeah,
very detailed stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Greenhouses for your oldest daughter.
Yeah. Me and
Yeah.
Jimmy Krause built that little building. This
Yeah.
was a
What's the year, say 1984?
82.
82. Yeah. Y'all built that and it's stout.
Yeah, but it was built out of rough lumber
Mhm.
that could be 3/8 of an inch difference between one side and the other.
Yeah.
And we worked it out, and it was rough cut.
Put it
And
together like a
bought
puzzle.
it from Lee Beatty Killian. He's the one I asked that when we had that 100-year celebration on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I bumped Lee Beatty and I said, there wasn't even a building out here when you went to school. And I think he's he's 90 now.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we just sat out under the pine trees and read to us. He was pretty quick-witted and still is. I hope he's still doing good.
At least you didn't say the school books was on tablet.
That
rock
thing
tablets.
was at a square. It was like between a quarter and an eighth of an inch out of square.
The whole building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to have rough cut lumber, that wasn't too bad.
To build it. That was quite an accomplishment for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say are your greatest skills?
I hope picking a mandolin.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I pick a dobro and a banjo.
Everything with strings
and
without strings.
A little bit of piano, but that ain't much enough.
Yeah. And you play by ear. You don't read music, really.
Right.
I mean.
And I hope I sang a whole lot more than I did 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. You got a lot of skills. A lot of skills. What?
And I got more picking friends I just didn't mention. Like,
I know. Yeah.
I just Richard Money and Richard Money's got a sense of humor, but he can take it or whatever.
Yeah.
He said he was at an old tractor, all kind of machinery and whatever, one time, and said he was standing there and a man walked up and he said, how does this hit and miss engine work? And he said, I went in and explained it just down to the detail, and said that the man looked at me, he said, you're smarter than you look.
Oh my.
And he said, I didn't know whether that was a compliment or not. He's smart. He's like an engineer or whatever.
Yeah.
And he worked for Ingersoll Rand for like 46 years.
You had to be smart to do that.
Anything that was broke, he'd fix it. He'd send him.
Yeah.
Just, do anything, working with metal and anything. Welding.
I only have 2 questions left. Okay. What do you want people to remember about you? I think the questions are getting harder.
They are. I don't know. Just know that I ain't hating nobody.
Yeah.
You
love people.
I want to try to get along with people.
Yeah. Yep.
But you don't have to change yourself to get along with them.
Right.
Just be what you got. And
yeah.
That's it.
Yep. All right. And then, what's the best advice you can give your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on? Like, what would you want them to know? Most important.
Well, you got to love the Lord.
Yep.
And don't be lazy, and learn how to do a certain skill that'll get you through these crazy times now.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Sounds good. You got anything to add? before I cut it off?
No. I'm just hungry and I want to go get me something to eat.
That's going to be your famous
And I'm
last
getting
words.
chilly.
I'm getting chilly too.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Okay, well, that concludes the first Wilkinson family interview.
All right.
Today is
Bye.
Thursday,
I hope it is, but don't rain.
August the 21st.
22nd.
Second? See, I don't even know what day it is.
My
Thursday,
doctor asked, wait a minute, let me sit back down. My doctor, well, different things, the doctor, I said, just pick on her. And I said, where did you say you was from? She said, Lebanon. I said, Lebanon, Tennessee? She said, Lebanon.
The country?
Lebanon. Yeah, Lebanon. And I know she was from Lebanon. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just was picking on her.
Messing with it.
But I asked her one time, I said, you got kids? She said, I got 3 boys like stair steps. All boys, and that's all she's got. And I said, well, they're just perfect little angels all the time. And she said, do you want one?
Just trying to give them away.
But, you know, she asked me, she was asking a question one time, like my memory. And she said, you know what month this is and what the date is? I said, it's some kind of like the middle of May or towards the last of May. And she said it's June the 3rd or something like that.
Oh my,
So they were, you know, had to double. They give me
we out.
one of them brain scans.